up, you guys? Hey you guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Melinda J, and I am here to do a review on the Netflix series Young, Famous, and African, y'all. Okay, so I heard another YouTuber mention this series, and I was like, dang, I need to go ahead and watch this so I can review it. And also, when I was on my account to see what was coming up, I was like, okay, Young, Famous, and African, I'm liking it already. So I am here today to do a review of the whole season 1. All right, and it will be broken down to probably 2 or 3 different videos. So just stay tuned for that. After I record this, I will be doing all that editing for you all to view this content. So please stay tuned and of the review. And of course, I'm gonna put my little 2 cents in it because it is a lot and it is given what it's supposed to give. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into it. So my first thought after watching this series, I kid you not, I just got through watching it. Today is March 21st. I just got through watching it, binge watching it yesterday. All right, after I got off work. My first thought of watching this series is the opulence of it all. The glamour, the luxury, I was just, the finer things in life, the motherland, the first world at its finest. Okay, this is what I love to see because we see whenever we see Africa, for the most part with the media, it's always dealing with the poverty and thinking it's a third world country and that they, you know, desperately need our help to some extent. And of course, I'm pretty sure moral human beings, or human beings that has morals, we don't mind helping others, but it's the simple fact that they just keep showing this portion like this and that, when knowingly I'm pretty sure there are different portions of Africa that is luxurious and opulent and regal and all those sorts of things. And of course, the delivery of this show, it has surpassed all my expectation. It gave us the opulence, it gave us the glamour, it gave us the affluential figures in the South African region. Hopefully they will do one in the northern region, or the or the eastern region, or the western region of Africa. But I just love to see people thriving. Okay. So a good summary of this, and I piggybacked off the summary of the Netflix trailer, is that it's about getting a glimpse of the other parts of Africa that they don't show on TV on a regular basis. The luxurious parts, in this case, Johannesburg, Africa, which is the richest single mile, which is Sanidun. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If not, I'm sorry. My apologies. But it is considered the richest square mile in Africa. And this is a reality series that follows a crew of famed, affluent stars as they work, play, flirt, and feud in Johannesburg, South Africa. Okay, so the cast. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but it'll come up in my head once I get on down. So the cast of the show, we have Kayani. She is the queen of the bling. Okay, she's 35. She's an actress. She's a producer. She's a life coach. She pretty much narrates bits and pieces, especially the first part. In the first episode, just letting us know that they are here and they are here to stay, and rightfully so. And she mentions that she wakes up to piano piano notes. And I'm like, if that ain't luxury at its finest, you wake up to a piano player playing notes. Like, oh, that's better than waking up to the sun rising, okay? And she is dating Kudzi, that is 28 years old, and I believe she mentioned that he is a sheriff, if I'm not mistaken. But that is Miss Connie, and she has a daughter named Cons, and she's 15. Hold on, y'all. Okay, I'm back, y'all. That was mi madre calling. Okay, so the next cast member is Diamond Platnumz, and his real name is Nasib. And he is a rapper and kind of a player at the same time, but there's more to come on that. He's a player, but he's a charming one at that. He's a respectable one, so to speak, in my opinion. He's from Tanzania, and as Connie had described his presence, is that he brought Hollywood to Africa. And he dated Zari, which will be the next person that I mentioned. He dated Zari for 4 years, and they have 2 kids together, but now they're co-parenting. I don't know what their status is now, but during filming they were in co-parenting stage. And he mentioned that he possibly has 6 kids. And that's another thing in itself, okay? At least he admits it, unlike other people that don't admit it, and they just, yeah, okay. Okay, on to the next. All right, we have Miss Zari. She is boss lady, and rightfully so. Every time she walks in a room, literally, her presence is known for sure. The confidence, the opulence of the gracefulness as she walks in as well. She is a businesswoman and an entrepreneur. She has 5 kids, 3 from a previous, and of course 2 from Diamond, that I mentioned earlier. But Mizari, she is I love Mizari for the confidence, and not saying that all of the women are Zari gives you that sophisticated woman vibe, okay? But of course, I love Miss Zari. I love all the characters in their own little way. But on to the next one. Next person is Swanky Jerry, and he considered himself the god of fashion, and I'm gonna say rightfully so, because every episode he was giving fashion for days, okay? He is Nigerian, and he is a stylist for sure. I love Swanky. Swanky is probably like my favorite one because I can relate to Swanky. I love fashion. I love glamour. I love the opulence of it all. You're gonna hear me saying opulence throughout this video, but that's just what it's given. But I love Swanky because of the fact whenever you view this series, you're gonna see he is very down to earth, even though whenever he walks in a room as well, pretty much when all of them walk in a room, you're gonna feel some type of presence with them. But Swanky, you're gonna feel the harmony, the harmonious vibe from him, and I can relate to him because I love to keep the peace and be fashionably late at the same time. But of course, whenever we feel the disharmony, we want it all laid out on the table, squashed, so we can progress on to other activities without holding any grudges, and rightfully so. And you're gonna find that out later on in the series. Oh yeah, by the way, this is a spoilers video, so if you don't want to hear me spoil some type of pointers out there, I suggest you just watch the series and then come back and watch it. But if you just want to hear me rambling at the mouth of giving what given my point of view of this series, then rightfully so. Just stay right on in here, okay? We are all family in this joint. Okay, next we have DJ Naked. That name in itself. DJ Naked. He is a DJ, and he's 40 years old. His real name is Quentin. I believe I'm gonna call him Quentin. I just feel weird calling him DJ Naked. That's his stage name, but y'all, y'all got to watch this. But he is he's dating Kaylee, and she's 28 years old. She is a fitness enthusiast as well as a semi-soccer professional player. And they've been dating for 1.5 years. Now, the next person on the cast is Andel. And he is like the gentleman in training. He has kids by 2 women from my understanding when he had his birthday celebration in one of the episodes. But he is well put together. He's the classic man, okay? And he loves to golf. And I consider him as the voice of reason. However, he does get close to Miss Zari further along in the series. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, but Mr. Andel, he's very classy, he's a gentleman. Yeah, and I just consider him the voice of the reason out of the whole crew. I mean, don't get me wrong, all of them have something to bring to the table, but he's like the subtle voice of reason, okay? Compared to Swanky, he is the voice of reason, harmonious person as well, but he is vibrant at it, okay? He's gonna let you know, okay? Next on the cast crew, we have Miss Nadia. She is a Pan-African rapper and musician. She is also a businesswoman and an entrepreneur. She is first-gen South African, but she's originally from Zimbabwe. Okay, so throughout the series, my idea of her is she is living her life. Okay, she is living her life. She is doing what she needs to do, and there are a couple of course I'll explain it, y'all. But Miss Nadia, I love Miss Nadia in my own little way too. Next on the list we have Miss, I think this is the last person. Yeah, this is the last person on the list. Last but certainly not least is Miss Annie. Okay, Miss Annie McClay. If I'm not mistaken, I apologize for the pronunciation. But I just like to get to know other cultures. That's just the type of person I am. And her last name is pronounced Idbia. I hope I'm pronouncing that. Lord knows I don't like people mispronouncing my name. But Miss Annie girl, she is Nigerian. She is an actress. She is a model. And I'm introducing her this way because she is married to the legendary Two-Face Innocent Idba. But they call him Tuba. She calls him Tuba, and then Zari calls him Innocence. So be sure whenever they're talking about Tubaba or Innocent, they're talking about the same person, which is Annie's husband. But Miss Annie, we're going to recognize Miss Annie because to a certain extent she is living through she is in the shadows of her husband because of how legendary and how affluent he is. So Miss Annie, she is Nigerian. She is an actress. She is a model. She is a presenter. And I googled this, y'all. As far as like the rest of the portion that she did. She has 2 daughters, Isabella and Olivia. and she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress in 2009 at the Best of Nollywood Awards. And she has been with Mr. Tubaba since the age of 16, you know, when he blew up as the artist as he is today. And then later on in the season, they kind of like slid her, but I feel like she'll be one of the good characters as well, Miss Tanya. And she's Annie's friend that she's Annie's friend that prayed over her when Annie and Tubaba renewed their vows on the last episode. So of course, that is the cast. Now let's go on to the highlights. All right, and of course I have so many highlights, so it will be broken down into the video, into 2 videos at least, because I want you all to stay and watch the whole video. And I feel like if I break it down into a couple of videos, that hopefully y'all stay around. So please stay tuned. Okay, all right, so the highlights that I came across in this series is, one, the first at the last sentence that was repeated when in the first episode, as far as like the introductory part, that Swanky had mentioned, now the world is going to see everything that they have been missing out on. And rightfully so, because again, we have been seeing other portions of Africa, but not this portion of Africa. So thank you, Netflix, for showing us this part of Africa, because we all know that there's different every country has a poverty portion, and every country has a middle class portion as well as a rich portion. So thank you for showing this. Because sometimes we like to see people in our skin color that is literally famous, literally rich, literally living this life day in, day out. Okay, no, all gas, full throttle, no rent, no faking it till you make it type of thing. Like, these people are the real deal. Okay, all right. And of course, this series reminds me of the Made in Mexico series, where they showed of course the affluential figures in the rich Mexico portion, as well as Bling Empire when showing the Asian portion of how the Asians live. So this series here is definitely giving the Bling Empire and the Made in Mexico type of thing. I wish they would continue on with Made in Mexico series, because that was a good series to me. And again, I like to see how other cultures operate, live, and those sorts of things, because I feel like everybody needs some form of not reality, but some idea of their representation is living just as opulent as another race, and so, and those sorts of things. Okay, on to the next. Another highlight is when Connie had mentioned that you can't be a superstar without scandal, and rightfully so, because that's how people get to know you. Whenever you encounter a scandal, like they say, good publicity is all publicity, and bad publicity is good publicity. So rightfully so, if you're not well known out there, create a scandal. It don't have to be all extravagant like that, but create a scandal enough to be like, okay, let me see what this person is all about, sort of thing. Because it gets, word of mouth travels faster than technology to a certain extent. All right. Another highlight was Swanky mentioning something to Annie, and he had grabbed her phone to look up something, and And when he was typing in the Google search engine, he was like, girl, what are you doing looking up your husband? Why is your last Google search is your husband? And Annie, Annie was like, I have to make sure he is doing what he's supposed to be doing out there. I gotta make sure he's acting right. I thought that was hilarious because she was, and then she had said after that, I don't know why I gave him my phone. I don't know why he didn't use his phone. He could have just used his phone, but he used my phone, and then he just came across that. But I mean, who doesn't do that? Like, seriously, don't get on Annie like that because she searches her. Now, whenever you searching your spouse like that, that's when you know you like rich. That's when you know that you like affluential person, because if your spouse or anybody has to do a Google search on you just to make sure you're, you know, not being too extravagant out there, of course that plays into the portion of you can't be a superstar without a scandal type of thing. I mean, who hasn't done that as a regular person? So cut Annie some slack a little bit, y'all, because who hasn't gone? That's just the same as going on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, trying to figure out what your significant other is doing. And so cut her some slack, y'all, just a little bit. Another highlight is Miss Annie mentioning Olivia and her trials and tribulation, her youngest daughter, in regards to having blouts. And this is where you basically have like these stilt things where it's helping you to walk, but you can't necessarily walk. You have to like use your arms and stuff, and of course these stilt sticks to walk. However, I thought it was very touching and monumental that when her daughter turned 7 years old, that was the first time she was able to stand on her own. And you can tell Annie loves hard, and she is like ride or die for her family. And I thought that was a very sweet and touching moment, that she her daughter is not only is able to stand on her own 2 feet, but as she was talking to her daughter on the phone, her daughter was just so glad that she was able to walk, that she's just like everywhere around the house. It's almost like a toddler learning how to crawl. A baby learning how to crawl, or a baby learning how to walk, because once they get that motor skills and able to do what they like, then of course they're going to be all around the house. So I thought that was a beautiful moment with her and her daughter. The next highlight was Kaylee. They introduced us to Kaylee and DJ Naked, aka Quentin, when they were at his house, because they stay separately, and I didn't know that until possibly the 3rd episode, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it was the 3rd episode that he mentioned that they stay in 2 different he has his house and he has her house. But I'll talk that up in another in the next video. But within the first 5 minutes, when Kaylee had mentioned to him that he was not romantic, now that he has her, because before then she described it as he was romantic before, and it's usually how it goes with relationships. There is a honeymoon phase that he was cutting out the cheese in the shape of a heart, and I thought that was cute. But when she had mentioned, when was the last time you did this and this, like show affection, hold my hand, bring flowers, cook for me, when she said that within the first 5 minutes, I was like, time out, bro. Come on now. I mean, they do have a very big age gap, because she's 28 and he's 40, and she mentioned that this was the biggest age gap that she has dated, as far as like dating a person. I mean, of course, you're gonna be running through some hiccups along the way, because you have this person that is already established, and then you have the younger person that's still vibrant and just get ready to wind down, you know what I'm saying? So of course there's gonna be some riffraff. However, I do have to give them props of going to couples therapy. I think Connie was the one that mentioned it to them to go to couples therapy to work out their situations and how they can maneuver around the age, their dynamic of the relationship, because I'm pretty sure the age gap has run its course when it comes to them two. I believe she has accepted the fact that, you know, he's a nice person and she doesn't mind, you know, dating an older person. So the whole theme of the first episode, hold on y'all, I gotta take a water break. But the ball was the first episode, and it was considered a flex party. You know, Connie had invited all her friends, friends, and I'm pretty sure some colleagues, and that were in the same tax bracket, bank bracket, as well as like-minded people within that same bracket, and to be able to network. So I'm pretty sure the ball overall was like a networking event. And Annie felt some type of way because she's the type of person that doesn't like to boast about the luxury things that she had. And but it was a time for people, like-minded people, whether they were like-minded in the mind or money-wise, to connect with each other, network, and of course be great together. Because of course collaboration is better than working alone, yet alone, so to speak. Okay. And one thing that stood out to me within this ball is Annie was pouring her heart out to, well, first it started out with Connie mentioning her parenting, meaning that her daughter Cons, that is Connie's daughter, that is 15, and she stays, she has her own apartment. Now at first I was like, hold up, time out again, time out, what? So it was like a mom shaming type of thing. This is how Annie and Connie friendship started, is the mom shaming portion, because Annie wasn't originally a guest at the ball. However, Nadia had invited Annie to the ball because, you know, of course she is affluential herself, and of course her bank account matches the bank account that everyone has in that room. So so when Connie had mentioned that her daughter stays in her own apartment, and that she is a liberal thinker, as far as like Connie is a liberal thinker in regards to parenting styles, because she did mention that she didn't have her mother growing up as she is with Cons, her daughter. And when she said that, Annie and Endel were very puzzled, because, and I was puzzled too. I was taken back myself, because I'm like, a 15-year-old having their own apartment, judgment, judgy. However, after Andal and Annie pulled themselves to the side to discuss a little bit further because they have a friendship themselves. That's when Connie had came about again, and that's when Annie had again started pouring her out, or her heart out, a little bit more towards, even though she was doing it with Andal, that I'm pretty sure she was talking to Andal in regards to the infidelity that was happening in her relationship with Tubaba and stuff. Connie was still sitting there on the side, and I mean, she don't know her from Timbuktu, but she's just getting all this tea from her, and Connie was just like, what are you doing? You spilling all this tea, and I don't know you from a can of paint, but okay. Rightfully so. But again, when Connie had mentioned her daughter staying in that apartment, of course there was the judgment at its finest. I'm not even gonna lie, I was judging too. However, I had to look at it from another perspective, because Connie is not married to the guy that she's dating at that time. I don't know if she still is now, but she's not married to the guy that she's dating. And to a certain extent, she does have her daughter in another living quarters. And when Connie had came out and went to her daughter's apartment, they're like side by side. It's not like they're one level here and one level down there. So I kind of look at it as an extended penthouse, a penthouse between the both of them, because you have Connie and her man here, and then you have Cons here with her apartment. However, I'm pretty sure there's rules established between both of them, and rightfully so. But the only thing that is alarming to me is the security factor, and that's about it. But other than that, whenever you're dating someone, it is nice to not introduce your kids right away. I mean, you can let them know you have kids ahead of time. However, I looked at it at a different point when Connie had mentioned that her daughter stays in her own apartment, because I'm pretty sure she wants to, whenever she's ready, and I don't know if she mentioned that her daughter, knows her mom's boyfriend or not, but to some extent, I mean, it kind of hear me out, y'all. To some extent, it's like, okay, my daughter is here, but me and my man stay here, and I'm trying to wait until the right and whenever that time comes for my man and meets my daughter or my children, whatever, then okay, rightfully so. But however, if the relationship doesn't last, I mean, the man, of course, is free to go, and Connie is just gonna be by herself in her own apartment. And of course, her and her daughter can go back and forth between each other's apartment and interact with each other. So again, look, even though it's weird and bizarre, however, they're still on the same floor, and they're like literally walking steps from each other. But I do understand the security factor and the independence and the raising, so to speak, type of thing. But due to the fact that her mother is dating someone and is not married to that person, you have to look at it at another angle, for us like, okay, I don't like for my child to stay in the same house as me and my boyfriend if we're not married yet. So I looked at it at a whole nother perspective as well. I get what Annie and Andal is coming from, but I did look at it at another perspective as a mother dating someone and is not married to that person yet, and they have their children, and she has her child close by, And if it doesn't work out with the relationship, then of course the man is free to go, and there's no conflict in that sorts of manner. The only thing I, put a question that is alarming is the security factor, but I'm pretty sure they got that handled, so to speak. But that was the highlight, besides the ball portion. But I think that was a major highlight in that first episode. Okay, but and another big highlight was Annie mentioning the first child that she had with Tubaba was the fifth child of Tubaba. It wasn't their first child together. It was more like her first child with him, but it's his fifth child, and she has been there since the beginning. Now, I'm just gonna adjust myself right here. I don't know how their relationship is. However, they are still married, and they are still a couple. And of course, there are times when you're gonna know when enough is enough. And from what I'm seeing, on my point of view, as I'm viewing this series and as I'm viewing their relationship and stuff, I don't know if it was during the break. I don't know if these children were within the marriage, and I don't know if these kids came about before they got married. So, because they known each other for so long, he said about 19 years. And on this series, their viral news was at the 10-year mark. So, again, I don't know their relationship like that. I don't know we don't know the timeline of those other kids coming into part, but I do like the fact that Annie mentioned that overall they are her kids, okay, and we're not going to treat them differently. We're not going to treat them any differently. So I just left it at that. But I found that really alarming. But again, we don't know their relationship. However, at the end, they renewed their vows. It's a new beginning, and you can't fault that for them, because how many people today still renew their vows after 10 years? The life expectancy on a wedding is 5 years to the max these days, because people don't know how to work things out. I'm not gonna say give everything they got, but they don't know how to work out through the solutions. They just want to jump ship and go on to the next person instead of just either working it out or stepping back and reflecting, and of course heal yourself before you get into another relationship or continue on the relationship. And that does not happen nowadays, and people really need to get back into that groove, because jumping from a relationship is not serving you no good at all. That just proves that you don't want to be lonely, and I said what I said, okay? And you don't want to be lonely because of you're afraid of the unknown, rightfully so. But again, I feel like we don't know their relationship like that. However, they are still married, and that's on that. All right, on to the next. Let's see. I'm gonna do this point, and then I'm gonna cut it off, because I feel like I'm going a little long-winded, but of course I'm trying to keep these things short. Okay. The next point of view that came out from this episode or this series was Diamond and Nadia. They're like two-stepping with each other, while Nadia had a man at the time. I thought that was weird at first, but of course Nadia and her man, they were in a long distance relationship at the time. And of course, long distance relationship, it can only do so much, because either one gets lonely or both get lonely, and then things happen in the midst, and it causes confusion and all sorts of things. But when Naked had mentioned when Naked had mentioned we have needs, I'm like, okay, yeah, we all have needs, but there is discipline at the same time. So what are you talking about, sir? Are you going, so you mean to tell me each time you have a need, you're gonna do whatever you can to fulfill that need, or get that need scratch that need off your chest or whatever? Or you just gonna say, okay, I have needs, but I'm disciplined enough to stay faithful to my partner that I'm committed to, and of course do the necessary adjustments to be with my partner. If not, just let the partner go. So I was confused whenever Naked mentioned that on the golf course with Endel and Diamond, in regards to we have needs, because of Diamond and Nadia, they were two-stepping with each other in regards to, okay, he's interested in me, I'm interested in her, but I have a man, but I'm single. I was just like, okay, yeah, we get it. Yes, we have needs, but of course there's discipline that comes into having needs, because those needs can turn into bad deeds. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna cut it off here, and of course there will be a part 2, so stay tuned for that. And of course, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.